Hi, and welcome to the Ladies of the Paranormal World, Season 1, Episode 12. We are doing Island of the Dolls. I'm here with my co-hosts, Drusilla, Wendigo, and Skinwalker.
Y'all,
Almost called you Skywalker there for a second.
I am
Just
your
being in
father.
a Star Wars mood today.
I am your
Um,
father.
I am your
we are going to
father.
be talking about Island of the Dolls, Robert the Haunted Doll, Annabelle, the famous demon doll, and one that is a little less known, but just as wicked, Peggy the doll. So, this is my disclaimer warning. There will be photos of Peggy the doll in this video today. The photos are said to, if you even make contact with just her picture alone, can cause chest pains and sicknesses and illnesses. So, don't want to end up with any of these things. Don't watch this episode. Just kidding.
You have been warned.
You have been warned, yes, and I will also be putting a disclaimer in the credits. um, Today, we're going to start with Island of the Dolls, also known as Isla de las Muñecas. Island of the Dolls was founded, and the caretaker of the island, I should say, wasn't founded by him, but he was a caretaker of the island, was Julian Santana Barrera. He found a little girl that had drowned in the southern canals of Mexico. And after finding her body, they obviously did what they do. Later on, he would find a doll in the same exact place where the little girl's body was found. He then took that doll and hung it from a tree. And ever since finding her body, he would continually add dolls to the island to please her spirit. But it was founded that the spirit of the little girl was not the only spirit that haunted that island. As more dolls were collected and hung, those dolls seemed to become rather possessed. There are rumors that they can hear whispering and talking, laughing and giggling and crying from these dolls, though none of them have batteries, none of them are functioning, but somehow are living. That's not creepy enough. He would continue to do this for 50 years that he was alive. Then he himself was found drowned in the exact same place where he found the body of the little girl. So we're talking, that's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But after he died in 2001, it became a famous hotspot tourist attraction where people continue to this day to add dolls to the island in respect to the fallen. So, Drusilla, what do you think?
That's a little creepy that he died in the same spot. Like, he was putting up these dolls to please, and then he ends up dead in the same spot. That's a little creepy. I mean, there's all these dolls and stuff because some of them are like nailed to the trees, like their head is nailed to the trees. You got ones that have no heads, hanging from whatever. So some of these just are like creepy. And you got to wonder, did people hang that way? And if so, why that way? Like, why would you them like that? I don't know. That's just my question. Why would you hang dolls with their got toes in it and stuff like that?
Right, and it's really quite scary that these are dolls that, if you look at some of them, are pretty creepy looking. Like you said, there are some that are like missing heads and stuff, but if you look at the ones that are still fully intact, like even in your background, you can see the one that you've got most showing.
Girl, or
yeah,
the little one. Yeah, like she's
the
creepy.
faces are cracked and dirty, and they just look extremely creepy all by themselves. So, and then the new dolls are being found to be laughing and crying and talking and whispering. It's really quite disturbing.
Dude, I don't know if I could do that one. Like, if one of the dolls started like laughing at me, I'd be like, no, peace out, everybody. I watched Chucky, okay?
And I'm going to show some pictures of the island here in a minute. Boys, what do you think?
Well, it's creepy that where the owner died is right where the girl died.
Not, you're
But
telling me that is not
really convenient.
a convenience. Okay, that
One of
no,
those dolls took him.
no.
Yes.
You know,
So-
I wonder if you guys would actually be able to stand one night on that island. Just one night.
No.
Oh no,
Probably not. Probably not. The first time I hear one noise, you're gonna see me trying to swim.
I'd rather get
I'd rather get
No,
swept
yeah,
down
no.
and take a chance of drowning than stay with a bunch of possessed dolls. I'm good.
let the Cayman come for me.
I think if we did, they would be like, you know how when you see like kids not wanting to go somewhere in like little videos and stuff, and the kid is literally like trying to grab onto everything to hold on so the parent can't let them, they can't go. That would be these two. They'd be grabbing on like door frames and whatever they reach out, it would be like, nope, we're not going. And you're like, come on, let's do this. And yeah.
Yeah, you know, if I had to stay on this island for a whole day, I'm not afraid of dolls. But once one of them things starts like talking to me or whispering or anything like that, I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Exactly. It's like peace.
Yeah, no, that's no. No, you could not pay me enough money in the world to get me to spend an entire day. Especially if I start hearing whispering, giggling, and crying. There is absolutely no amount of money in this world that will get me to spend 24 hours on that island. I'd rather take a chance trying to swim with my hands tied behind my back.
Dude, if it was like if he stayed and he heard them giggling and stuff, he'd be like finding the nearest corner to rock back and forth and cry himself.
I'd be like a toddler covering myself with a blanket. If I can't see you, you can't see me. If I can't see you, you can't see me.
You know, it's also said too that things move on those islands. Dolls move on those islands, on that island. And there's actually an episode of Ghost Adventures, which I love referring to them because they've done just about every place humanly possible. But on the episode that I'd watched of that, Zach had just gotten off the boat. There was no fire burning at the time that he got off the boat, but less than 30 seconds later that he stepped foot on the island itself, it lit itself. The fire pit that was there just turned on. It was really quite strange.
No, that deters me even further because I ain't becoming barbecue for no doll.
Nope, not gonna become barbecue dinner.
You know what? If I saw a doll in one place and then seeing the same exact doll in another place, like, the same exact with everything, and yeah, I'd be done. That's like Chucky shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know, I've seen some pretty crazy things. I've read some pretty interesting stories, but I think this one definitely makes me go, why? You know, I understand the man's reasoning behind it was out of the good of his heart and he wanted to respect the little girl. I get that, okay. But when you end up with an island that's full of probably well over 500 to 600 creepy ass fucking dolls,
Yeah,
ain't no
you've gone a bit.
child that I know wants to play with them things.
Yeah, you've gone a bit too far.
A bit? A
What
bit seems
if-
like
I don't know if anybody's thought about it, but what if he felt compelled to put up these dolls?
Well, and you know, it actually says that when he first added that first doll, his personality seemed to have changed, and yeah, he seemed to have been possessed almost to continue to add dolls to that island. So I think to say that he was kind of drawn to it would be an accurate statement, because who in their right mind spends 50 years on an island adding dolls to it? And
Mommy? That's a waste. That's a complete waste of my time. I can understand the one first doll, respect for the girl, done and over with.
yeah,
But
this
this-
island was originally never even meant to be a tourist attraction. It just kind of became one. And now people still add dolls to this day to that island. So it's like the never-ending growing tree of dolls.
Yeah.
Just that.
One of these days, you can see a doll army marching across the land.
I told you the motherfuckers were possessed.
You can go there, dude.
It's gonna be like little. It's gonna be like what little soldier, tiny soldier or something like that. What, one movie.
Okay, that's the doll you're not supposed to look at, right?
Are you muted? Because I cannot hear you.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to actually click on that right away. I was
That
actually
had to
looking
divert
forward
my eyes. Like I was like,
Dude, I never turned my head so fast. I almost
Okay.
snapped my own neck.
This was what I was trying to open when I did that. All right, so here's just part of the island here. You know, all of the creepy dolls. You got this entire
Dolls
tree
in
with,
the
like,
tree.
so
head,
bad.
legs missing, and
They're in the trees. They're in the trees.
here's inside. This is one of the oldest dolls, and I think it actually says this is the doll that was put there when the little girl was found. So yeah, that's not creepy or anything.
No, definitely not at all.
Totally. No.
Like what is these? Like they're
Oh,
like there's hands.
God.
And
Yeah,
then you got,
see,
you know,
like some of these are just no. Like look at the doll head that's on the post.
yeah, that one's kind of creepy. It's just kind of chilling there. It doesn't even have a body or nothing. It's just there.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
Like
like two of them like that. Like there's one here that's just a head. Here's just a head. This one I think doesn't even have a head.
and then this one has a stake through her head.
Yeah, and there's one over here. It's got just the floating head. It's really kind of creepy. And what looks like here just a set of legs.
A
It's just
foot.
really weird. There you
Yeah.
go. There's another one of the older dolls. On the
Oh, just the doll itself is creepy.
The doll itself looks really
Dude,
disturbing.
that looks like something Frankenstein would have made.
Right?
I mean, yeah, okay, you got a floating head there, you know, but this guy,
Creepy.
he is really creepy.
I'm sorry. Could you imagine if you're like at night and you just turn a corner and bam, that's right there.
Well,
Fuck
who's not to bring that one on there? Like, oh, let me bring this horrifically horrid, crazy looking doll put it on the island.
Yeah, right. Like that one. That one looks really like. It almost looks like. Have you ever seen Hellraiser?
Yes.
It's like Hellraiser's child.
Right?
It's a very 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 creepy doll. And here you go. Here's more for you. You can tell.
Oh, God.
Like you can see, this is a newer doll. It's a Smurf.
It's a Smurf.
Yeah. But then you
A
can
Smurf
see,
gonna come get you.
like, they're just really quite odd. You can tell the older ones from the ones that tourists have left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still creepy that there's that many dolls on trees and shit.
There was a Barbie in the last one, so that's kind of recent type thing.
Yeah. Like, it's definitely not a place that I would go, hey, let's go camping there. Oh, okay,
Right?
so that's the end of that. We're going to go ahead and put this down here because we're going to get to those next. Um, but yeah, that is definitely one of the more disturbing islands I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
that dude is
I've seen
crazy.
some pretty creepy shit, but that island definitely takes the cake. And like we said earlier, the fact that he was found in the exact same location as the little girl's body was found is really quite disturbing.
Really does not
Right?
sound like
It's what was
coincidence.
so special about that particular spot. You know, what drew
I don't
him to that
know.
spot to begin with.
Well, yeah, because obviously the guy was on the island for 50 years. Okay,
Yeah.
you're telling me he couldn't have swam?
Right, exactly. How exactly did the man who'd been on that island for 50 years, obviously, I mean, there's other way, there's boats that go to that island. What drew him that close to the water to where he drowned? And if he was in the water at that spot, why didn't he swim?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
being on an island for 50 years, you may know how to swim.
Well, you would think so. You most certainly would think so.
I mean, I knew how to swim by like the age of 2, 3 years old, but I lived on an island.
Exactly. I
So
mean,
I know the
I
age
didn't
to swim
live
at
on that
age
island
7.
and I don't know how to swim.
I lived on an island, so swimming was kind of a thing. You know, I mean, I know there's other people that haven't didn't learn how to swim at such a young age, but being on an island, it's kind of what you got to learn.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've discussed the beginning of our doll fest, because that's basically what this is. This is our doll fest. I can't wait till Halloween because I'm going to start getting into the asylums and stuff. Um,
Mhm.
but next we have Robert the doll.
Oh god.
He's
Robert
a
the doll.
picture
Okay,
one,
so
huh?
he's another character that
You can't
is
take
said
his
to be
picture, huh?
symbolically possessed. And his story actually dates back to the early 1900s when a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in his home. Eugene, who everyone else called Gene, named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new doll. The home that Eugene had lived in is now called the Artist House. Is located, um, sorry, on Eston Street and was built between the 1890s and 1898. So, pretty old house. It was
Right,
here that Eugene was given Robert, uh, where friendship. Apparently, he had this doll his entire life. Um, while it seemed like an ordinary cloth doll, it wasn't long before Robert was involved in strange and somewhat terrifying events. So, again, we're talking about a doll. People don't think dolls can be like this scary thing, but it is. They can be. The first hint that something was out of the ordinary was when Jean, who at the time was 10 years old, awoke to find Robert the doll sitting in the end of his bed, staring at him. Now, this is somebody that was obviously attached to this doll,
right,
like, but your doll is staring at you. I'm sorry, but if I woke up and there was a doll staring at me, that thing would be in the wood chipper. Okay,
right.
but it would
Some,
not be staying with me. um,
but I guess
and then it
think
was
about
said
it.
that
You said that
Robert,
you know
Robert's
most people
mother, or
don't
Eugene,
think
excuse
about
me,
that.
huh?
I said you said no. Most people don't think about that kind of stuff because they don't
Well,
think
they
about
don't.
the doll being something bad.
Exactly, because, well, I mean, you look at it, every girl in the country more than likely has at least one doll.
Right.
You know, and parents don't think that it can become this possessed entity that carries around curses. They don't look at it that way.
Yeah, no.
Another instance was Eugene's mother had woken to Eugene screaming for help as furniture was being overturned in her son's room. Eugene was heard screaming for his mother to rescue him. When the room was in shambles, Robert the doll was sitting at the foot of Eugene's bed. Now, another thing that's seems to be said by Eugene through his childhood is Robert did it. Okay?
Like the dog ate my
Robert.
homework.
Huh? It's exactly
Like the dog
kind
ate
of
my
like that,
homework.
except worse. Nobody knows for sure why or how this child's plaything could actually wreak havoc on a child's bedroom or anything at all, as it is a doll. It's meant for joy, right?
You would
Weird and
think.
inexplicable occurrences didn't stop there. They would often hear their son upstairs talking to the doll and getting responses back in a totally different voice. It was reported that they had seen the doll speaking and witnessed the doll's expressions change from giggling to sighing to angry, running up and down the steps. This is just one creepy doll.
You said they were seeing it run up the steps?
Yes.
Oh God!
Oh.
Eventually, Gina decided that the doll needed a room of its own. So this doll literally ended up with its own room.
Its own
Okay.
bedroom.
Its own bedroom. Gene Otto died in 1974, and when a new owner moved into the home, their 10-year-old child was delighted when they found Robert the doll in the attic. But her delight quickly ended and claimed that Robert was alive and that the doll wanted to hurt her. She awoke often in the middle of the night, screaming in fear, and told her parents that Robert had moved items around in her room. So, many believe that the origins of Robert's evil lies in the one who originally gave Gene Otto, the servant who worked for Gene's parents, the doll. The woman supposedly was mistreated by the bosses, and to punish them, cursed the doll with voodoo and black magic. Okay? So Robert the doll was basically a revenge against the family of
Hell of a revenge.
Otto's, huh?
I said a hell of a revenge.
Right? And we're talking now, this is a doll, a 10-year-old child. You're cursing this family by using the means of the doll, this little bitty bitty doll and a child. You're using the revenge through a child.
Yeah. Not cool at all.
So, this is one creepy doll. We're talking, this doll is said to be talking, changing expression, as in like when we're changing our own facial expressions based on our moods. Whispering, running around up and down the stairs, is doing poltergeist activity that is throwing around. I mean, can you imagine how heavy a child's bed at that time was? Or even their dressers or things in their room?
This shit's made like a solid wood.
Exactly. So we're
not
talking
like the
stuff
board that we have right now. That
Right.
shit was sturdy and made out of shit that, yeah.
Exactly. This is not a
kid could not lift that
5
shit.
pound. Huh?
I said a kid could not lift that shit.
No, this is definitely something that a child of 10 could not have possibly overturned. We're talking, the way that they described in the article is that the things were not just scooted or slightly, they were completely overturned. A child of such a small and young age could not possibly have moved furniture at that time with such easy. It's just not possible.
Yeah. It's all solid. Most of the time you needed more than one person to help move your stuff.
Exactly. So it's pretty creepy. That's definitely, and I'm gonna show some pictures of Robert the doll. But by looking at his picture, he's a creepy looking doll to begin with. But he's a sailor doll, and something at that time, they don't all look super cute. I don't know if you've ever looked at a doll from back in the 1900s, but let's be honest, there's some creepy looking fucking dolls. Okay.
Because most of them were handmade, so
Exactly.
they weren't made by a
they had-
machine that makes them perfect. So they might have had like one eyeball funky than the other one, and
Exactly. Like they were pretty weird, pretty odd looking. So
kind of like the Lilo
um,
and Stitch doll. What is that doll's name? From Lilo and Stitch,
the little
green doll,
yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly.
She went and made her own little doll.
I think it was Scruffy. The name of that doll.
I don't remember, but she made
it's
that
a
doll
handmade
all
doll
by herself. So
right, exactly. And dolls back then, I mean, it's a pretty accurate description. Handmade dolls back then just looked freaking creepy. But this one here has its own kind of like aura about it. If you look at the picture, you can actually kind of feel there's something off about this doll just by looking at the pictures. So, again, in my disclaimer, I did say that there are dolls that you don't want to look at the eyes of. This isn't one of them, but this is one of those dolls that they tell you not to take pictures with.
But yeah, there's pictures of it.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel bad for whoever the photographer was.
Whoever took that picture?
Yeah. But this doll is actually in a room of its own, surrounded by like pieces of paper that say warning, absolutely do not take photos. So I'm gonna show those now. That's pretty creepy. This doll's a pretty creepy doll. I mean, I'm all for the cool stuff, but look at this thing, okay? There is literally a warning here. It says warning, do not photograph. There are pages from the Bible all over this wall. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
like, dang.
Robert on
I
that
was
wall.
not expecting the doll to look like that.
Huh?
I was not expecting it to look like that. I was expecting something completely different.
It's a pretty creepy looking doll. I mean,
It looks it's so dead looking.
it is. It's definitely, and look at its face. I mean, just look at all the weird damage to the face. I mean, this doll's been preserved and it's still quite freaky looking. I mean, look at that. And you can see the hand
he don't
stitch
really even
too.
have feet. It looks like he has it don't really look like he has like feet. It looks like he has
it's a hand sewn slippers. So it's got hand.
It's supposed to be a slipper. I was gonna say it looked like a foot with just a big toe on it.
This is his display case inside of his own room. Yeah, he's pretty creepy looking. Another angle of him so you can see the other
was
side
that
of
little
him.
dog thing included with him?
Yes.
Because that dog thing is kind of creepy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are both kind of creepy looking.
So, here we go. We're gonna go on to Annabelle next. But yeah, Robert's a pretty creepy doll.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's creepy looking. I'm pretty good at not. I'm good on that.
He can stay in his little plastic box.
Yeah.
And stay there.
It's pretty creepy. And I'm one of those people that I tend to be more believing in cursed and possessed items, and dolls are definitely one of those ones I believe. That's why we're doing this one, is because I definitely believe that they can be used as a conduit for evil possession.
Right.
So, okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is Annabelle. Everybody knows Annabelle. Everybody knows Annabelle.
Yeah, but I didn't know who she was. Like, I thought she was an old-fashioned,
Like an old-fashioned doll.
Yeah.
No.
That knows.
Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, like I had a Raggedy Ann. It makes me think twice about my Raggedy Ann.
Yeah. When I think of
Maybe your Raggedy Ann wanted to murder you. You don't know.
Then maybe it did. I don't know.
Okay, so here's the true story of Annabelle. Now, everybody that's ever seen the movie of Annabelle, no, that's not how it happened. Not even remotely. Okay, so the original story, the true story, is that according to the Warrens are those the couple that ended up with Annabelle in the end. Um, According to the Warrens, the story of Annabelle the doll began in 1970 when a woman purchased a Raggedy Ann antique doll from a hobby store. The doll was supposed to be a gift for her daughter Donna. Donna had just graduated from college, and within a few days, the doll began to move. At first, it made slight changes in position, nothing that you would think too much of. And then it would continue to move entirely to different rooms. The doll, things then quickly escalated. Donna would find pieces of papers that would be laying around her apartment with notes that had been scribbled on it. Help us in childish writing would be found on the dolls, on these scripts of paper, along with come find me, excuse me. Now, a medium was brought, and according to the medium, they were dealing with the spirit of a little girl named Annabelle Higgins, to be specific. Apparently, young Annabelle had lived on the property before it became Donna's apartment. She was found dead at 7 years of age, and she wanted to keep being loved. So, the medium told them basically to love the doll as if they were loving Annabelle. Uh, Donna, sorry. Donna and a friend named Lou faced Annabelle's worst wrath. Ooh. Apparently,
What?
they weren't a very big, huge fan of the doll and repeatedly told Donna that the doll was evil. He had spotted the doll at the foot of his bed, and it had floated up from his feet and began to strangle him.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, that's just creepy. He had blacked out from oxygen deprivation and didn't wake up until the next morning. Another instance, Lou believed someone had broken into the apartment but only found the doll in Donna's room. When he turned his back, he suffered scratches and yielded 7 burning claw marks. At this point, Donna decided to seek help from a professional. She tried to contact a member of the church, but was quickly referred to the Warrens instead. The Warrens would then take possession of the doll. Ed and Lorraine Warren conducted an investigation of the doll and quickly decided that the doll was not attached to a spirit of a little girl at all. In fact, it was the Warrens' opinion that a violent demon entity was using the doll as a conduit. Since demons cannot possess inanimate objects, the spirit had hoped to hang around long enough to possess one of the occupants in the apartment. The Warrens decided to exorcise the apartment and take Annabelle with them. So, that's how the Warrens ended up in possession of the Annabelle doll. Okay. This is also known as the doll that kills. Doll that kills. That's not creepy or anything. Ed and Lorraine. Even on the way home, the Warrens claimed that the entity had become hateful and angry. They almost swerved into multiple accidents. The brakes and the power steering had failed. The car completely stalled out, and after Ed splashed the doll with holy water, things quieted down. So this doll tried to kill him.
Special guest.
The next few weeks would wield even more of the same results for the Warrens. Annabelle would appear to levitate or switch rooms, even after locking her away in the office. She would then move to the living room. At one point, they had hired a Catholic exorcist who verbally and physically assaulted the doll and got into a serious car accident shortly thereafter. Eventually, the Warrens had a special case made for Annabelle, and she remains there to this day. Okay, so Annabelle, big bad. Okay, causes car accidents, tries to kill you.
Yeah, no. Chop chop.
You know, this is a, you know, everybody remembers Raggedy Ann. I used to have a Raggedy Ann doll, like you said, you used to have a Raggedy Ann doll. You don't look
Yeah,
at
I had a
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann.
Nobody looks at Raggedy Ann and goes, "Oh my God, this doll's gonna kill me." You know, it's a child's fluffy little plaything from the 1970s. It's like one of the cutest dolls they had at that time. It's creepy looking to me, but let's be honest. Again, we said how dolls were made back then, and
Well,
this is in the
you know,
1970s.
it was
You know,
just
not
a
quite as
simple
creepy, but
doll.
they're still creepy. Huh?
It was just a simple doll. It had yarn hair,
Yep.
you know, yarn eyeballs with buttons.
Yep.
Like, it was just a simple doll.
Yeah. Nobody looked at that doll going, "Oh my God, this doll's gonna kill
This
me."
thing is gonna
Nobody
kill
thought this
me.
doll was gonna possess me. You know, but this is a doll that's said to have caused multiple car accidents by people that have tried to exorcise it. So much so that they had a special case built for the doll, which I'll be showing soon. And this doll has never been out of this case ever since.
Well, yeah,
So-
I wouldn't let it out of its case either. That's another one. Stay in your case.
You know, you
No,
got to
no.
imagine. Just try to imagine waking up to this doll choking you, like it's a doll.
We'd have a problem.
Right, exactly.
Because that doll would have gone in some kind of shredder or something.
Right, but they say that because the weird thing is they don't actually possess the doll itself. They stay around the doll. They stay in the area of that inanimate object in order to lure somebody to it. And because it's possessing a doll, well, what's easier to attract to a doll? A child,
Okay,
right?
no doll, no attraction.
Exactly.
Shredder,
Exactly. No
shredder.
doll, no child.
Burn it. Burn it.
It's using.
Burn it with the stake.
It's kind of
using
using
the
it as a
doll.
conduit.
Right, it's using it as an attractant mostly, to get you close enough to it to then take over your home, you know, and eventually possess you as the person in possession of that doll.
Nope.
I mean,
Good.
we're gonna show some pictures of Annabelle, but she's a pretty.
Shredder.
I mean, she doesn't look that creepy, but when you listen to the backstory of her, it's like, wow, like this doll, really, this doll. And the one that I'm going to show, even last but not least, is the one that you don't want to make eye contact with. I'm going to say this once again: bad things happen when you make eye contact with this doll, even if it's picture. So don't look at it in the eyes, people. Look around.
Avert your eyes.
Avert your eyes. Don't look directly in the eyes. And I'm going to make that. That's the disclaimer that it's going to get. But here's Annabelle, okay? Simple Raggedy Ann doll. This was the original picture of Lorraine Warren holding the doll. And this is when they had first become in possession of it. This was before all of the crazy activity started to happen. And you can see that's, I mean, it looks like just an innocent little doll. You know? There's Lorraine Warren much later. This is the case that they had actually had made for her, where it says positively do not open. Warning, positively do not open. So I mean that kind of says it all. right there.
Right?
Don't open it. Oh. Yep, okay, so I guess I only had 2 pictures of the Raggedy Ann. Of Annabelle. Excuse me. So again, not a super scary looking doll. Not something that you would think, oh my god, this doll's gonna do me
You
harm.
want to let him out.
You know, you wouldn't think that doll's gonna cause any problems. But in fact, has caused quite a few mischievous little problems.
Yeah.
I'm good on that. Like I could really do without it.
Really double think about dolls, right?
It really does. It kind of makes you go, I don't know, like, do I want to let my kid play with this doll?
Right?
Everybody wonders why they don't want dolls in my house.
You know, it's kind of like maybe this is not a good idea.
Right.
I wonder
Right.
what told you.
Now, this doll that I'm about to tell you is even scarier than Annabelle. This is Peggy the doll. Now, I don't see a date for Peggy the doll. So I'm not sure how old she is. I'm trying to find it real quick. I can't find it. Anyway, I'm reading the article as per. I'm summarizing. I'm not going to word for word it because I'm not going to do that. That's going to take too long. Anyway, Peggy looks like your average doll with standard glassy blue eyes and cute Doris Day bob. But Peggy isn't as innocent. She is actually possessed by an impish spirit, is what they call it, an impish spirit. Now I'm going to say demonic spirit. I'm not going to say impish because this doll has been reported to lead to chest pains, nausea, debilitating headaches, and even heart attacks linked to looking at the photo directly in the eyes. And then some even recall that they had seen visions of mental institutions combined with the anxiety and claimed that Peggy gave her a heart attack, according to the Daily Mail. Harris, who runs the organization called Haunted Dolls, was sent Peggy by her previous owner, who claimed that the doll was haunting her in her dreams. She'd wake up feeling hot and shaken, and Harris said no matter where she moved the doll in her home, the nightmares would persist. She apparently even put the doll in the barn of her home and was not able to remove the nightmares. After the woman had suffered from fevers and hallucinations, she ultimately stumbled across Harris's website and gave the doll to Harris. Harris, cracked with highly specialized members of the Haunted Doll social media group, have deduced that Peggy was possessed by the spirit of a woman born in 1946 in London, who died of a chest condition, possibly even asthma. She hated clowns and presumably because clowns are the only thing creepier than the doll, inhabited the doll after death. 4 separate psychic mediums have studied Peggy, and they all say that she is a restless frustration and previously persecuted, possibly with ties to the Holocaust.
Did they just say the Holocaust?
Yes, it did. Peggy's original owner isn't the only woman who has reported being tormented by the doll. Harris says that droves of people have come forward with similar accounts, ranging from the computer freezing when they look at Peggy's picture, or to the room getting cold and light bulbs blowing out whenever they mention the doll. But Harris says when people contact her about these incidents, taking Peggy into isolation area and kindly asking her to stop tormenting strangers usually does the trick. So, again, that's why I said this doll, even the pictures alone, can cause problems.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Excuse me, Miss Doll. Can you stop tormenting? What?
With Peggy, it is not only while people are looking at her or watching her, it seems to be afterwards as well. We have been told, as it says, that she can affect people's dreams. Harris said that she recently visited a lady in her dreams, warning her about one of her cats. The next morning, the lady found the cat was very ill and sadly had died that day. Okay, so it goes on for quite some time, but there are 81 people that have come forward to say that they have been victimized by Peggy the doll.
81 people that didn't listen and looked her in her face.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah. That's exactly it. People that were not supposed to look at this doll directly in the face that ended up doing so anyway.
Yeah, because they didn't believe or whatever.
Most likely skeptics. Now, what's concerning about this doll is it says that this doll has a possible relation to the Holocaust. Now, we all know that the Holocaust was an extremely dark time in not just Germany's history, but in the world. It is one of the biggest travesties ever committed against humankind.
Right.
So, if this doll belonged to somebody who was a victim of the Holocaust and is the child or person that is inhabiting that doll, I would imagine that there's quite a bit of negativity connected to it.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about, what is it, 6.2 or 7.2 million Jewish men, women, and children that were killed at this time. And
all the
that's a lot of darkness,
all the
fear,
stuff that was done to them, and yeah.
And then you've got this doll
There's a
that's
lot
to have been from that time, possibly owned by a child or a person from the Holocaust. That's a lot of negative energy to be attached to an item.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I have to say that I don't believe it's a demonic possession, but I do think it's an oppressive possession. I think it's a possession of somebody that has been wronged at that time, and that's what they possess. That's what they attached to.
Right? They've been through all that nastiness and died from nasty shit. Because
I mean, they were starved. They were beaten. They were shot.
They were starved.
They were starved. There
was even some that hid in like the toilet, like where they hid in there.
Yep.
Women would stab their fingers with like a needle just to rub it on their face to make it look like they had more.
Yep. I mean, and then you've got twins. That was the biggest. If you were a twin, God help you. You had Dr. Mengele. Huh?
The weakest one would have been killed.
No. Dr. Mengele would experiment on their bodies, trying to change their eye color using dyes, and would basically take them apart to see how they can make the perfect race.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mengele tortured.
If it is somebody from there, it's probably that spirit, but that spirit has been so scorned and had so much bad happen to him that I guarantee you that spirit just has all that hate and stuff inside of it. So
I have to agree. I think that if this doll did in fact belong to somebody from that time, I think that it was attached to that doll. I think that doll was probably dragged through. I mean, if you think about it, they didn't take all of their personal possessions away until they had already gotten off the cattle train.
Right.
They would stick anywhere from 60 to 100 people standing upright into these cattle cars and then drive them on these trains for days without food, without water, without proper bathroom usage. They were sitting in their own filth. A lot of them were covered in feces from head to toe by the time they even got there. And then all of their things would be thrown into a pile where they would be made. The workers, the Jewish workers, would be forced to separate these items, and then the Germans would take it all and sell it. So,
Yeah.
talking from glasses to shoes to clothes to purses to you name it. Gold, especially teeth, they rip out your gold teeth.
Right.
So, I mean, your wedding bands, you were nothing to them. And anything that you owned wasn't yours. You weren't allowed to have it.
Right. That was theirs. They deserved it, is how they felt.
Yep. And that's how absolutely terrible that time was. And I mean, I'm sure you boys have probably done your research on the Second World War and the Holocaust and, all the different concentration camps. Birkenau and Auschwitz were considered murder camps. They were the ones that had the gas chambers that were mostly what was used, Birkenau and Auschwitz, to exterminate, basically, as if they were killing ants.
Yeah, they would throw the bodies to ovens, or they would dig big holes and just chuck a bunch of bodies there and leave them on fire. That's why a good portion of the year in Germany, people at first thought it was snow, but
It
it
was
was the
ashes.
ashes from the burning bodies.
Yep. It was pretty brutal. So I'm going to show this doll. And I mean, she kind of does have that World War II look to her. Uh-oh, where'd Mom go?
I have no idea.
Did her computer do that stupid thing again?
What happened? She says it went on hibernation again.
Again? Okay, so we're going to put a pause for a second and let her come back. Then I'll show the pictures. But
yeah, being able to do a lot of research on World War II.
Right, and anybody that's ever paid attention in history, period, knows it was a very, very, very dark time. It was a dark time to be Jewish. It was a dark time to be, heck, it was a dark time to be Russian. It was a dark time to be anything that wasn't German.
If you had color to your skin, if you had any disability, sickness, anything.
Yeah. If you could be gay and you were persecuted and treated as the rest of the Jewish men, women, and children. No differently. So it was a very dark period of time, and when you see this doll, you'll understand why I say it looks like it came from that time, because it's very realistic looking compared to most dolls. And at that time, they did make them more porcelain than anything. That's what she is. She's a porcelain doll.
Yeah.
For a
World
moment,
War II is not the best time of not one of the best portions of human history.
Exactly. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, wow, I have nothing else to say. Yeah, during World War II, it was chaos. Lots of people hiding and fleeing. Even some people from Germany was helping out the Jewish just to keep them alive. And if they got caught, they were executed on the spot. Yeah, there's no. If you were caught helping out anybody that the Nazi Party was going after you were killed. Well, yeah, you were known as an accomplice, a traitor to your country. Even though it was a traitor, it was a treachery. It was doing the right thing. Just thinking about it, all that shit that. Yeah, it's mass genocide. Was how many people? A lot. Hundreds of thousands of people died. Between the many different countries, of just them attacking the separate countries, from them literally wiping out almost the entire race of Jews. They would capture anybody home, and while you became property. War
prisoners of war really wasn't a thing, and then they sat there and say that there's portions of what the U.S. is doing, what Britain is doing, what France is doing, things like that. It's so unfair. But you sit there and you go through all this history and you see what Germany has done through the entire war of gassing, burning people. And
You gotta
it's
remember,
not,
this isn't all of Germany.
executed all
Believe it or not,
troops.
a lot of Germany was completely opposed to Hitler's reign, but they treated him as a god because he saved them from poverty, basically.
It wasn't just that. It was also if you didn't follow what he said, you would be executed. They would literally execute people on the spot if you didn't follow.
Oh yeah, if you were found hiding anybody, you were
Executed.
killed on the spot.
I remember watching this one movie. I can't remember what it was
Is
called.
Mom's computer back up and running yet?
I don't know. We'll just go check that. But I remember watching this one movie where this guy was part of the Nazi party, but he was taking in a bunch of Jews to work in his factory to make ammunition and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's called. His name is Schindler.
Right? And after the war, after the Nazi party ended up being dismantled, they were going to hunt him down because he was part of the Nazi party, so he went into hiding. And then once he died, all that worked in his factory that he saved came to his funeral and put a lock on their stone on his grave.
He was actually, in the end, before he died, awarded a medal for valor for rescuing as many as he did. And movies, believe it or not, because
I love that movie.
It shows it's
I loved that movie. It was a good movie.
It shows that not all German, just because they were in uniform, were on the same page as Hitler was.
Well, yeah, because most of the Nazi Party was there just to survive. I know they weren't doing good.
They were providing for their families.
They were providing for their families and trying to keep their families from being executed.
Well, yeah, think about it. If you left the war, if you just abandoned war, you were one, either hunted down and killed, or two, you were in prison. Do you think most men would have, at that time would have let that happen? And what? Their wife and their kids have to go hungry because now of what they've done? They're not going to do that.
Brilliant. Bed.
They're going to sit there and they're going to do what they have to do to provide for their families, even if they disagree with it.
And she's logging on now. Stuff is
Okay.
so. See, one movie I watched was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I didn't even see that.
So, but yeah.
Is that one?
Now, this doll that I'm going to show, once Drusilla comes back on, you're going to see it. You're going to see the old-fashioned clothing that it's in. And you're going to be like, yeah, this is definitely something that was most likely from that time. It is a porcelain doll. The eyes are glass. It's a porcelain doll. It just is what it is.
Okay. So where did this doll originate from?
They don't know where exact origination is. They just know that it's most likely. Sorry, give me one moment.
You're good. You're good.
Most likely from World War II era.
Got it.
So they say, from what the story goes, from how the story goes. It's a doll that was from that time.
Yeah. There's got to be a lot of negative energy that really is on that doll.
Exactly. Now, how accurate it is that the doll creates problems, I don't know 100% for sure. I don't think anybody really can know that. What I can say is it's said quite frequently that it has the ability to cause chest pain and stuff like that. So when I do the disclaimer in the beginning of the episode, I'm actually going to put that this doll, looking into its eyes, whether it's through the picture from your computer, is said to have causes illnesses. So, I'm still waiting for Mom to get back.
Yeah. Because I think about that time during those times, and it's a lot of bloodshed, a lot of hate that's going around.
Yeah.
That's really going to be a lot of negative energy towards that. Just in that whole time period.
Yeah, but
All the hate and all the negativity that was around.
now here's the weird thing. Now you got to think. Now it's happening again. A lot of the hate and negativity, you see it. Like I'll give a good example: Russia versus Ukraine. See a lot of hate and negativity.
Well, not really. Most of the Russian people didn't want even to start with Ukraine. It's the government.
Just like Germany.
Very true. Very true.
So, are you guys excited for the Clown Hotel episode?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't really have a fear of clowns.
It's dolls.
The dolls are just really creepy.
Well, I'll let you know. Tomorrow we have pretty much for the rest of this week a fully booked schedule. Tomorrow we have you know what? I didn't even write that down. My bad. Hold on. I gotta find it. Here. Tomorrow we have Steven.
We have who?
Steven. He has a bunch of
And he's the only person we're talking to tomorrow?
Sorry, I didn't realize I muted myself. What did you say?
I was wondering. I was going to say, so is he the only person we have to talk to tomorrow? Or do we have another one?
We have one. Okay, so tomorrow we have Steven. Thursday we have Denise. Friday we have Coventry Circle Paranormal. Okay.
Okay.
Then we have September 9th, Simon Parrott. Simon Parrott, excuse me. He's a paranormal investigator from the UK.
Ooh. From the UK.
So, yes. So we're talking, they've got some pretty great haunts there.
Oh, yeah. It's old as shit. There's a lot of shit that's happened there.
Yep. And then on the same day, we have Sophia Temporelli, the Ghost Host. So we have 2 interviews on
the night. Okay.
So it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the 9th. It's going to be fun. The first one's going to be at 4 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
So whatever time that is, your guys' time.
That's like
1.
That's like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. So 1 o'clock your time is going to be the first interview. The second one is at the same time, 7 o'clock.
Got it. Okay.
My time. So that's 7, 6, 5, 4.
Oh,
4 o'clock your time.
No.
Yep.
4. Nope.
4. Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah.
4 plus 3 equals 7.
I can do math. I graduated.
I graduated. You want to see my tiny diploma?
Yeah, you want to see my tiny diploma?
And then every Tuesday from here until they run out of stories to tell, we have Mary, Shauna, Chantel, and Maida. They're the ones that have lived on. Oh, I gotta show you these pictures. She sent me these, and oh my god, I gotta show you. Hold on.
Is that the family that lives on the haunted?
They lived on the haunted farmhouse most of their life.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta show you this because oh my god, she wasn't kidding when she said that there's a picture where there's like 3 faces in it. So I'm gonna show this to you real quick. I'm gonna do this real quick.
Did you
because
ever
I'm
watch
still
that
waiting
video
for
I sent you?
Mom. I did. I'm
Did you
still
see
waiting
the?
for Mom, so I don't know. I'm just gonna share this.
Eyeballs.
Oh, no, not that one.
Oh, gotta warn us.
I didn't mean to.
I ain't having any voodoo shit happen to me right now. No voodoo.
There we go. Okay, look right here. See that? It's
Is that a person?
faces.
It's blurry, but
It's like 2 people.
it looks like a person.
It's like
It's like a, is that like a
2
window?
heads, 2 faces. Yeah,
Is that a window or a hallway?
it's a window. This was
That's
shot
kind
from
of
outside,
creepy.
and there's like
It
2
looks like
faces.
2 people. It looked like if
Yeah.
Shami were to do this.
Right? Isn't that crazy? When I
That's
saw that, I was like, oh
creepy.
my god, that's nuts. But yeah, when she showed me that, I was, wow, okay. You weren't kidding. But yeah, 2 clear as day faces right there.
Dude, that is.
I had to show you guys that. Nuts. So, oh, there she is. I'm gonna have to show that again, huh? Okay, I'm gonna have to show you this picture because Maida sent it to us, and then I'm gonna show the pictures of the Peggy doll. But I just showed the boys, and I'm gonna see if you see what they saw. Do you see it?
I don't see anything.
Oh, oops.
I see
I'm not
us.
sure. Hold on. My bad. I did it again. Hold on. There we go. Try that again. There we go. You see it?
That figure back
This
there.
is the family.
There's 2 of them.
There's 2 faces.
Up and down.
Yeah, it looks like if Shami were to do this.
Yeah, so there's one up and one down.
Yeah. This picture was actually sent to me by the group that we're going to be talking to every Tuesday until they run out of stories. Maida, Shauna, Chantel, and Mary. They're the ones that I told you grew up on that farmhouse.
Yes.
That was taken outside of the farmhouse. So, pretty crazy, right?
Right. Can't wait to hear those
Okay.
stories.
I can't wait to hear them either. They've told me that they've got some pretty awesome stories. Okay, so now I'm going to show Peggy the doll again. Avert your eyes if you don't want anything to happen. It's not guaranteed it will happen, but I'm not liable for it. So, you look, your problem.
Yes,
This
Miss
is Peggy the doll.
Miss
This is Peggy the
Peggy.
doll.
How you
Now,
doing?
remember how I said she definitely has that 1940s kind of look? She's a porcelain doll with glass eyes. The hair is from real human hair.
Real human hair is usually what
Mm-hmm.
they were made out of.
Yep.
Don't look at his eyes. Don't look at his eyeballs.
She actually has a rosary around her neck,
Right.
as you can see.
Right? Like when a doll has a rosary around its neck, it's kind of like.
Yes. Now
That
this
really
doll
tells.
is actually located. Here she is. Here, she is located at Zach Bagans' haunted museum.
That doll.
Yes, this is the doll that is in Zach Bagans' haunted museum. This is one of his what they call his deadly possessions. So,
Yeah.
as you can
That is
see,
so
along the
creepy.
she definitely has a look about her, and she's got that same rosary. This is the display case at Zach Bagans' studio.
You know how many times I sit here and I want to look in his eyeballs? But at the
But
same
again,
time,
this is a doll. This is a doll that, if you look at the clothing, you look at the design and the style, definitely looks like a doll that came from the time of World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
look at his eyes.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Peggy the doll. If you have any crazy experiences after looking at the picture, leave your messages, leave your comments on the video.
Right?
I'd love to see
I
if you guys had
know.
any experiences. If you feel like you don't want to have experiences, don't look at her in the eyes. Avert your eyes, as Skinwalker and Wendigo had said. Thank you for joining us for our 12th episode, Haunted Dolls and Doll Island. You have been here with Drusilla, Wendigo, and Skinwalker today. We will be back tomorrow with Steve. He is our interviewee. And he has a bunch of stories he wants to tell us about his own experiences. If you would like to share an experience with the ladies of the paranormal world, please contact us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and leave a comment. One of those options, all of those options, I will see it. I will most definitely get to you. Have a wonderful evening.